Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Rufino's on Highland Road, welcome to the Friday edition Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. Full slate of guests today. Chris Massaro will be with us. Troy Macker, big MMA card this weekend. Bruce Marshall, Ace Seminara, and we're going to be ducking some weather here today in Baton Rouge. So be careful as you move around. Hopefully you can make it in your plans. Come by and have some lunch with us here at Rufino's. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Will Wade adding another, or at least publicly announcing another. There's a list somewhere in his pocket, in his desk, wherever, of 7 or 8 guys. Said that earlier in the week, but we're not getting all of those names just yet. But they seem to be kind of leaking out one at a time, if you will, for whatever reason, be it European conflicts with still playing or negotiations or what have you. But we're getting this information now coming in a little bit faster. And LSU adds Kansas State junior transfer, 6'7", Abdi Bashir. Bashir averaged 13 points last season for Kansas State. He played only 18 games, but he shot 42% from the floor, and the number that is going to jump out is he shot 44% from three-point range. That would put you near the top of most conferences. He's a transfer from Monmouth. Spent 2 years at Monmouth. His second year at Monmouth, he averaged 20 points a game for them in 32 games. 42% from the floor, 69% free throw shooter. At Kansas State was down from the 87% that he shot at Monmouth. So, I don't know. He shot a lot less free throws at Kansas State than he did at Monmouth. He was averaging three free throws a game at Monmouth over the course of the season and less than a free throw a game at Kansas State. So, with less trips, the percentage went down. But on paper, the guy looks like a pretty good shooter. 6'7", he's got some length, and so then there were 4 as we continue the roster build. But this is the best scoring average of the 4 that we've had so far. For those that are wondering where the points are going to come from, I would imagine that they're counting on Bashir to be a double-digit scorer for them next year. So Will Wade adds another.
Very good.
Okay.
We'll have a good team.
Yeah,
We'll have a good team.
they'll be fine. We're just, like I said, we're getting these one at a time.
Yeah, I know.
Your parents used to hand out, your mom used to hang you out, things. You get one at a time. You don't get them all. You get one at a time. So we're getting one at a time. Bashir coming over from Kansas State. We got LSU baseball. It's an early start from Georgia, 5 o'clock this afternoon as the Tigers try to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. They got, I guess, mixed news yesterday when the injury report came out. Omar Cerna was not on it. That's very good news. He's been swinging a hot bat for LSU, but didn't play in the midweek game. And Kason Evans remains sort of a in limbo type of deal. He's listed as questionable on the report. Frankly, I'm not expecting him to pitch very much, if at all, this weekend. So the Tigers are going to have to go with what they got. Georgia, the number 1 offense in the SEC, the number 1 home run team in the country. They have 20 more home runs than the next best team, which I believe is Oklahoma State. I've been to that park a number of times, and it is a bandbox. The ball travels very well. It's short dimensions. Them and Tennessee, the 2 biggest bandboxes in the league. I would say Tennessee's a slight, but it's very, very close. And Georgia just hammers the baseball all over the place. So LSU is going to have to be at their best to keep that offense down and keep their hot bats going, because it wasn't just against South Carolina that they swung the bats well. They swung the bats well against Mississippi State. And if you watched State last night, Tomas Valenkas has been one of the best pitchers in the league all year. They hit him, and he hasn't been hit a whole bunch. Texas got to him for 3 runs in 5 innings last week in Austin, but other than that, he's been Jimmy, the first 3 starts of the season, he didn't give up any earned runs at all.
In conference play.
In conference play. And LSU hit him. And last night, he handcuffed Auburn. They hit a home run off of him late after the score kind of gotten out of hand. But he was back in his form last night. It was a good win for Mississippi State. So it's not like LSU hasn't, in the last couple of weeks, hit some better pitching. Okay, let's see what they can do against Georgia.
Well, it was a big step up in class, and we talked about that. It's a team. Georgia also has a hitter that's trying to pull off the Triple Crown in the SEC. So for average home runs and RBIs. And, who was it a couple of years ago? They had another one that was
Charlie Condon.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little bit park driven. When they hit, they do that little tailgating out in right field. When they hit shots at they're 100 feet in the air to put the pine trees, man, are flying out. I mean, it's just they're not even close, man. So it's funny because that is probably the biggest size that's probably the biggest campus in the conference.
Is it?
Yeah, it's massive. It's almost twice the size of LSU. If you ever walked from downtown to Sanford Stadium?
I've been in Sanford Stadium. I've been in downtown. I don't know if I've ever made that particular walk, but I've been on that campus a bunch.
Well, you would remember it, I would think.
Yeah. When we did the show, we didn't do it from downtown. We did it from closer. But
okay.
Yeah, but I got an idea of what you're talking about. I've never been on the campus of Texas, so
no,
maybe the original.
I'm still not talking.
Okay, the original.
Yeah,
conference.
I guess.
Yeah,
the original 10 that we had for most of the time, and even if you include Arkansas and South Carolina as well. I mean, South Carolina Stadium's not even on their campus.
Neither is their baseball camp. Neither is their baseball or basketball.
So, but it's. So you ever walk from the Chimes to Tiger Stadium?
Yes.
This is like walking maybe 3 more blocks than that, maybe almost a time and a half.
Yeah.
And from downtown downtown is it's street that basically it borders. That's the end of the campus. The main street downtown.
No.
That's halfway across campus.
Yeah,
it's massive. Ethan went on a tour there, and it's a mess. So I'm wondering why they're land strapped. Is my point.
No.
That's where I'm getting at with this. I mean, they've got some land, man.
They're a great baseball team so far this year. They've got
what's their coach? I mean, what's that?
Wes Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, okay. And how long? It's all him, huh?
He's taking
this. He's taking this thing because they were down, huh?
They were down further than this, for sure. Wes Johnson was here as a pitching coach in 23. He spent a lot of time in Major League Baseball. Skeens still swears by him. He still goes there in the offseason and works with him a little bit.
When's the last time he won the conference?
Georgia? I'd have to look it up. It's been a minute. They've had some good teams, but I won the conference outright. I don't know, which they can do this weekend. I'd have to look it up, Jimmy. I should probably know that off the top of my head. But the thing I know about Johnson, and this is common to coaches, he is extremely demanding of his administration when it comes to resources. Okay,
not demanding.
Well, let's just say more than most. That all the coaches are a little bit. More than most.
Everybody wants. I mean, so okay, all right. He just gets it done, no?
And when you think about Georgia, there's a lot of similarities to LSU. The football program rules all. That's most of the places. It soaks up the majority of the revenue. Has Georgia basketball been good lately? Not really. I mean,
no.
They've been no.
They didn't even go to the tournament with Anthony Edwards.
No. For this dominant football program, men's basketball, kind of like here, has been an afterthought. Well, baseball's been kind of up and down. They've had good years and bad, like Tennessee before Vitello in that manner. You'd have some really good years and some really down years, like the consistency. Johnson is going to demand big resources, and he's produced big results.
He's come from a program that is resourced.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knows it, and he knows that LSU's baseball program has been ultra successful. It's the best program in the country. I mean, it's just, with Johnson win 2 in the last 3, it's back on top. Even with this down year, I mean, they've had the best run. By the way, it was David Perno in 2008 was the last one.
Okay, so it's been
they won
been a minute.
2004, 2008, and before that, 1954. So, but no, since Perno left, it's
what's interesting about that is the year they won the national championship, they did not win the league, because they won the SEC's first national championship in '90, and that was what was Fleming's first name? David Fleming.
Mm-hmm. Left-handed.
Yeah, they LSU won the league that year, but Georgia won the national championship. So it's a tough league. Jay Johnson still hadn't won the league. You think about that; he's got 2 national championships, has not won the
How many
SEC.
of the national championships did LSU win the regular season?
Bertman won 4 out of 5. They didn't win it in 2000, but the rest of the years they won the SEC. They won it in 2009 when Maneri won it, and they haven't won it either one of the years that Johnson's won. They won the SEC outright regular season title, but they won the national title. I'll make that swap.
Yeah, of course. So 91, they won the regular season also. 93, they won it also.
All of them but 2000 for Bertman.
Okay.
Now they tied for the lead in 96.
In 09 they did.
09 they won it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 3-way tie in 96.
No, wait. I'm reading this wrong. That's the national championships. I'm sorry.
But they won the league in 09.
Okay.
In 96 they tied with Alabama and Florida, who both made the College World Series that year. In fact, Alabama was the number 1 seed and Florida was the number 2 seed in Omaha in 96. And LSU won it out of the 6-hole. It was 5 versus 6 in
So 2000 they did not.
No, they won the SEC tournament in 2000, but they didn't win the regular season.
The regular season they did not. 09 they did.
Yep.
And then the last 2, no. Okay, so three times they didn't. So the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
as you add teams, I mean, you know how that goes.
It's a tough league to win. The 2013 team went 23-7 and finished in second place by 3 games. Vanderbilt went 26-3.
26-3.
They had a rain out. 26-3, and LSU had 23-7 is about as good as you can do in the league. And Vanderbilt just had one of those years that year in 2013. So that team that I was set up to win the national title and ran into some bad luck.
Now they had NIL money before NIL was even around.
They just called it something different, Jimmy.
The Commodore, fund, whatever it was, but the private school, they can do whatever they want. So.
Well, and they would tell you that LSU's TOPS advantage. They call
it is an advantage.
Well, but it was an academic advantage. It always used to piss me off when they'd say, "Well, they've got an advantage because of TOPS." I'm like, it's an academic scholarship. We're supposed to tell the good students they can't play baseball.
Charlie, come on.
It's an academic scholarship.
Charlie, when you have 11.7 scholarships, when you're using TOPS, it almost doubles it.
They had to make a 3.0 to get top scholarship
money
at that time. Well,
it's a 3.0.
Well,
come on, man. Jeez.
It's an academic scholarship.
It's aiding. Come on, you're not going to try and downplay that didn't assist LSU in the roster.
Sure, it did, but I'm supposed to tell 3.0 students that they can't play baseball because it's giving LSU an advantage.
No. Whatever, man. I mean.
It used to aggravate me a little bit that they would say, "Well,
I don't know why. Who cares? I mean, they can have Georgia has a Hope scholarship. They got academic scholarships too.
Yeah.
So I mean,
academic scholarships are legal. Anywhere you want to put them. What's for lunch?
Over here at Rufino's today, our appetizer features are the beef ravioli with the red wine jus, carrots, pickled shallots, crawfish spinach dip. That's right, wind it down. Crawfish season, the creamy spinach and artichoke dip with fried Louisiana crawfish and the crostinis to dip it in there. Entree features, how about this? Little fried soft-shell crab, corn and crab bisque, jumbo blue crab, sauce Chiron with vodka tomato cream capellini. Suggested wine pairing is a Frank Family Chardonnay out of Napa Valley. And the short rib pauvre. Yeah, I think. This is what they were serving at the Zurich. The short ribs, you talk about good. 48-hour sous vide bath, Yukon mashed potatoes with sautéed sautéed green beans. Suggested wine pairing is a Frank Family's Cabernet out of Napa Valley. So very, very good stuff from Chef Patrick, man. Always keeps it fresh, rotating the specials.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Let's go out to San Diego, talk to professional sports gambler Chris Massaro. Chris Massaro, who gave out his picks and a little throw-in at the end, huh, Charlie? Is that how did he present this?
He said a bomb. You want a couple of bombs?
Want a couple of bombs.
Couple of bombs.
And it was a bomb. Chris, what'd you think of the Derby?
It was exciting, when the 7 Dan and Bourbon was turning for home. I jumped out of my seat. I thought that was my top pick. I thought he was a winner. I've seen that move a few times. That same number, Justified did the same thing, and just takes that the final turn and just opens up a little bit like he did. I thought he was a winner, but then as we could see, the race kind of collapsed. There was all sorts of different horses coming at him, and he kind of just gave it up. He didn't really want that last 100 yards. And you saw the long shot bomb, Oselli coming, which I didn't want at all. The Renegade was coming, and then eventually the last closer, Golden Tempo. But I'm just kicking myself for not having the Super paid so much, and to have the horse to win at fixed odds. I had 40-1, but I never used him on top in the Super, and I'm really kicking myself because I did key on a couple of tickets. I did key Renegade in second, and it would have been nice just to. Looking back, all the horses I talked about on the show, Chief Wallaby, Dan and Bourbon, even the other long shot I discussed, the 11 at Credibolt, and Renegade. I didn't think Renegade could win, but those 5 came in, first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, and it was just like, if we could just put the ticket, construction with you're going to have an all in one of those spots, which I usually do. I just never had the 19 on top in the Super, and I'm just kicking myself considering when you look back now and you see that the Super paid about $94,000.
I had some Incredible, some Chief Wallaby, some Commandment, but I did have a Franklin on the nose on Dan and Bourbon. And the reason, when I'm thinking at the top of the stretch, my confidence level, and you're trying to process this as you watch a 20-horse field, but he's bred to run for days, and he didn't. So that was like, I was like, So, but like a third of the way through the stretch, or maybe even halfway, he looked like he was home, huh, Chris?
Yeah, he definitely looked home free. He's lightly raced, so that was only his fourth start. He's never gone more than 9.5 furlongs, and it just seems like when he got to that 9.5 furlongs, he thought the race was over. I mean, he ran a fantastic race, though. I mean, nothing against him. He's not going to be coming back to the United States. Maybe we see him in the Breeders' Cup along with that other Japanese horse that caused the big stir when it got bet down from 30
we
to
had
1
him.
down to.
I'm a victim again. I had him.
Well, hey, listen.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, everyone is complaining about the late money that comes in, but that horse was bet heavy and all the horizontals, the pick 5, the pick 3, the doubles. I missed it. I never, I didn't see it beforehand. I was a little shocked that it was 5-1. That was extreme, but that horse ran off the page. I mean, that was probably the most impressive horse of the weekend.
He was, and it also created some more support for Dan and Bourbon in the Derby. Because, I mean, even if they're not even correlated at all, the Japanese horse fared so well because it was impressive as well. So, and he won like 3 lengths or something like that. So, anyway, it was. I'm doing with a buddy, the guy Michael Baychuk, who comes out with me for the contest every year at Del Mar, and he said we got a 8-1 and a 13-1. He said swing for the fences. I was making the bets. And so, okay, let's swing for the fences. And, well, he was a shorter price by the time they hit the finish line. It is what it is, but that's not going away when the tracks are not going to turn down their action. I mean, it just do it.
Somebody sent me the chart. The following day with all the money that came in late, and I go, well, there's your answer right there. They're never going to take that away because they get they're getting 14% of that late money right off the top.
Yes. No, of course, it's not even like sports books. I mean, it's just guaranteed. So yes, they're not going to turn it down, and that's why the rebates are in there as well. Let me ask you this: where are all the ones that are heavily bet that lose? I want to track of those because I mean, all we hear about is the ones that win, and I've complained about it. It's cost us money, but still, they're not winning 100%. So where are the big movements? That's what I want to see, is where the big movements, because they have some of those. I just don't see those publicized at all, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, California, you see it a lot, and I never like to chase the money in California. You see it all the time. Del Mar, Santa Anita. These horses get bet off the board, and I'm not sure if it's. I don't even believe it's the CAWs. Sometimes it's just somebody with a lot of money that doesn't really know what they're talking about. And you see the horse that's 9-1. It opens up at 5-2, drifts back till 7-2, and it doesn't even have a shot. So, it definitely does happen. The key thing is, and our friend Paul Bovey talks about this all the time, is that's part of the game. You gotta be able to dig into the other pools to see what horses are gonna get bet, anticipate. Yesterday in the last race at Churchill Downs, there was I didn't win the bet, but the 9 horse who was 6-1 in the morning line. He was second favorite in the pick 6, pick 5, and the second favorite in the double to the 7, who was the obvious choice. Now the 7 ran second, got beat by his stablemate, the 10. And the 9, the 9 was definitely well met, took the lead, and gave it up in the stretch and got third. But that's the game. That horse ended up closing at 4-1, not 6-1. But you just got to be able to dig in and know what to look for. It's hard. It's just like anything else. You learn as you get older, and as many times as you've done it, it just becomes a little bit more second nature. But it's still difficult, and it's still animals, and it's fun when you win. And I tell you right now, there was so much overflow at the Wynn Sportsbook watching this race. I mean, the buzz was absolutely fantastic, and you just wish it could happen. It's not going to happen every day, but you wish it could happen a little more often because it's so much fun. And when you have a winner, it's just an electric feeling because you're not expecting to win, and when you do win, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I was at Beau Rivage, and it was overflowing. And it was on fire. They had a ballroom completely. Now you had to make your plays downstairs, but a ballroom with a second. So it was an exciting race. So I mean, we're talking about the down, but and look on the Oaks thing. I mean, they quadrupled the viewership. So, I mean, and the other thing is NBC had that Sixers Celtics Game 7, and I mean, as soon as they finish their coverage, they're tipping off in like 3 to 5 minutes. So there was a conscious effort to try and capitalize and, get a spillover from the Derby audience to the NBA playoffs. So I don't know. And when all these articles about they're screwing the city of Louisville now, and because they push back the Oaks, let me tell you something. I've been to the Derby, and the city of Louisville has been screwing the visitors for a long time. I mean, we're at a restaurant one time, they handed me the menu. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Oh really? Because these prices are a third of the price of this menu you're giving me now. I mean, the hotels are ridiculous. It's the most gouged event I've ever been to. I've been to 7 Super Bowls, so. I don't know, So
the fact that you bring up the TV aspect with the Celtics-Sixers game, moving forward, there's definitely going to be a big push to move the Preakness an extra week. And they're saying that the networks that are going to be getting the races are going to decide, the spacing, the timing, and it's all going to be around, matching up with what's going to lead into it, what's going to lead out of it, and it's definitely going to be more of a TV showcase and that's just how it's going to be. And if
what do you feel about that? The changing that tradition of the Kentucky Derby and 2 weeks later you get a bounce back.
If you can get all the horses, if you can get say 10 out of the 20 horses that ran the Derby to run in the Preakness, plus a couple new ones that stepped up in say the Peter Pan or the Pate Mile. Sure, let's do it. I mean that's great. Horses are not bred like they used to be bred. They're not bred as these tough, strong. They're built for speed. Everyone's built for speed, and they're just. I heard something yesterday that Cherie DeVoe in 5 years as a trainer has never run a horseback in 14 days. So why on earth is she going to run a horse back in 14 days, on a track that she doesn't train at, that she doesn't ship to? It was not a surprise at all. And there's people that say the most ridiculous things on Twitter or wherever they say it. They have no idea what they're talking about, making fun of the owner and the trainer. It's amazing. And people that have, worked for companies that are big media, people, it's just like, how do you say that? You don't know the owners. You don't know I know Cherie and I know David and I know people around the team, and I talked to people the day before the race, and they said that horse was sitting on a big one and they didn't think he could win, but just amazing. And then you trash them because they're not going to go to the Preakness, but it's just the way it is. And the horse is worth so much money now. You can't risk something that the horse doesn't do. So I don't get upset at all.
We're traditionalists and we all love this sport. It's important to remember, I think, if we're going to talk about changing this format didn't come into place until 1969, which means the vast majority of the Triple Crown winners, we're talking about some of the giants in the sports like Whirlaway and War Admiral and Gallant Fox, they won in a different format. Only 5 of the Triple Crown winners, starting with Secretariat, won in this current format. So it's not like it's been like this for 100 years. We've had way more Triple Crown winners in different formats than we've had in the current one.
All right, let's, Chris. We're looking at what you got for us today.
I got 2 games. I got 2 games for you tonight. Well, 1 in each sport. Let's go NBA first. Do or die for the Sixers. I wish they had a little bit more of a bench, but I think they're going to be able to pull this one out tonight. I think the hamstring injury to OG Anunoby is huge. He's their best on-ball defender. He's also been pretty hot shooting the basketball as well. If he doesn't play, I'm not anticipating him to play. And hopefully we get Embiid back, because the points in the paint for the Knicks versus the Sixers in Game 2, 56-30. You're not going to win many games giving up that many points in the paint is that big of a disparity. But the question I have is, can Philly just play a complete game? They should have won the game the other night. The 12-point fourth quarter is unacceptable. They went 5 minutes and 32 seconds, 6:32 mark to the 1 minute mark with only 1 basket. They only made 1 free throw. Maxey missed the first free throw there. So just they gotta come with a complete effort. They played good enough. They shot the ball well enough, but they can't have a 12-point fourth quarter. I think getting the game at home with the Knicks already a little bit fat and happy, I think this is a circle the wagons moment for the Sixers. I think they get the job done tonight. One other game I'm playing, I really love this. I don't give out many hockey bets, but I love the Ducks tonight. They've outplayed the Vegas Knights in both games, outshooting them huge in both games, faster. They just look like a better team, and they're going into they're going into a very tough place to play tonight. Very underrated building, the Pond up in Anaheim. This place is going to be rocking. I was at Game 3 versus Edmonton 2 weeks ago tonight. The place is absolutely bonkers. I really like Anaheim to get the job done. I don't understand how the line, as a favorite, as a home team, they're a pick'em game tonight. I just don't get it. They outshot Edmonton huge in both games 3 and 4 2 weeks ago. I expect the same result tonight. I like Anaheim at a short price. You can find it -105 on the Game 3 tonight. I like the Ducks. I think the Ducks are going to win the series too, but especially like them tonight at home.
Okay, so when we're sitting at Del Mar and you have a tough beat, and I'll say, well, remember after the Derby, and you were so understanding, said calm down. I'll remind you of your approach there when you rant and rave.
Well, that's the John Lucas approach. Very
that's right.
Calm
that's
on the
our guy. Mr.
We're
Chill.
riding with them next year, Jimmy. Hop on board, 60-1. I don't know, what did I get? 80-1, 60-1. I got a lot to 1. I don't know. I bet a lot.
Coach Chill. He's got it going on in Coral Gables.
I love it that you two guys are telling everybody just chill. This is very,
this is
very calm, soothing. Yeah.
Avoid some lightning strikes, both of us today.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, Chris. We appreciate it. Thank you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, anytime. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies. Since 1980, Lucas Ragusa has been doing it. He's worked in every part of this whole operation to make sure he knows what it does to put a good team together that's going to be able to handle the business, man, when it gets really hot and knows, you know what's happening. Man, we stress those units and they break down. So, man, we got a slogan, like we like to say, is that service today, every day means same-day service. You call today, you get service today. You will never sleep hot when you call 480-1000 at Total Maintenance. 480-1000 Total Maintenance.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. Just trying to finish up a busy weekend, get on to my weekend.
Yeah. So, what's going on with the NBA playoffs? We had a lot of routes. A lot of lopsided games. Cleveland in last night's game was sort of a minus the increased scoring in the Oklahoma City Lakers games. Those were almost played back from game one. So the zigzag theory went backwards last night. And gosh, if you had the Lakers plus 15.5 last night, you got to feel like, what's it take to cover? I mean, so
JJ Redick will tell you different officials.
Oh man, that real LeBron James is not. He's the first star to not get the calls in the NBA in the history of the NBA.
Never gets a call.
Man, and the guy needs to go away. So anyway, your thoughts on the playoffs and anything of note as far as the handle or movements, sort of playing the game so far.
Yeah, figured that the Lakers Thunder would have generated the largest handle, but that comes in second to the Knicks and Sixers game from, what was that, Tuesday night, I think? Wednesday night? And the interesting thing, we've been taking, the book has been taking wins. The biggest wins were the Spurs Timberwolves last game and Pistons Cavs last night. Detroit and Michigan and Ohio are both good markets for us. But I think more money was on the Cavaliers. People kind of are doubting the Pistons, at least from the betting tickets and money. And I think the big thing is, unders. Under hitting that game. And while we talk about unders and the unders come down for playoff games, people are still backing the overs because they see that lower price and say, all it has, if there's a blowout, one team's not going to stop, and they're going to be able to do the heavy lifting of that over. And we've seen a lot of blowouts. So that over not hitting is, I think, what led to, the book taking a low to mid six-figure win on Pistons Cavaliers last night.
Okay. I was wondering, in some of the shows, and it's usually generational, but still, a lot of people getting upset that they're bouncing the games from ESPN, NBC, and then they're streamed to Amazon and Peacock, and you know how that goes. It's not the NFL. Everybody's not going to make sure they get the game on. It's not that powerful. Do you see any type of impact on the handle, depending on if these games are network or stream?
Yeah, I mean, I potentially, yes. I haven't thought about that. Seeing that these game handles don't necessarily match, it's not down massive, but bets and handle is down a little bit from last year. And I know anecdotally, I went to watch one of the games 2 nights ago while I was making dinner and couldn't find it. And, when a household with 2 little girls, you don't really have a lot of time to think and figure it out. So I put on, the local baseball game instead. Because I had about 30 seconds to get a show I wanted, and I couldn't find basketball. And then once the kids were asleep, I got to thinking, remembered, wait, the NBA is all on streaming now. And once I realized that, I still didn't turn it off. So potentially, yes.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of like, games that are on TV, and most of them are, but as opposed to not, people want to watch what they want to bet. That's the whole thing. That's got to be a pretty big correlation. Some people don't. I do. But
the biggest pain is,
and it's like me. I don't have Peacock. I have to draw the line somewhere. I've got 7 TVs, okay, in my meeting room. I've got this, I've got that, I've got YouTube TV, I've got Cox, I've got the packages. I've got to draw the line at some point.
There's getting it, and then there's actually watching it where you're trying to watch something else. We like to flip back and forth.
Oh, no, with the stream you can't do
and
that.
Trying to go from the stream to regular television is too much of a transition, so you're stuck watching that one game.
Yeah.
That's the biggest pain in the butt.
What's that, Max?
Oh no, I was just gonna say you got an NBCSN at least as a bailout there for some of the Peacock games. They've been putting them on that channel. Not everyone has it, but YouTube
NBC
TV does
what?
have NBCSN. They just added that channel.
That's what I have.
That's at least helpful, and you don't have to flip between.
But when I'm playing the games, including like some Big Ten games or maybe even some Big East, I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get it tonight. You know, so
the worst is college basketball because
it's not about college basketball
that many times, that many games.
Yeah, so I was just wondering about that. Do you allow the girls to have the remote sometimes, Troy? Huh?
I can tell you the decline in my sports watching this past year has gone down about 600%. Through that reason. I mean, if I even think that they've moved on to another room or they're outside. Whatever. If I try to change it, even if it's like just to put sports on, I always want sports on no matter if I'm paying attention or not. And I'll try to sneak on like a 7 a.m. Saturday EPL soccer match just to get something, and within minutes it's on My Little Pony or Coco Melon or something.
You're conversing in Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
Troy,
what I'll do is turn on the TV in the playroom when they're not playing, and I'll go down there and tell them I'm cleaning up if you need me.
I think the public was on Cleveland last night in the zigzag. Same result, pretty much almost the exact same way. Instead of tying it up, losing most of the game, the Cavs took the lead before Cunningham and the Pistons took over. But I sensed some public dog action on Lakers. Did the general public at Bet Rivers? Did you guys get mostly Lakers action?
No, we got mostly Thunder action.
Okay.
I mean, that was the smallest win we took, and it was barely the cost. Basically the cost of doing business. I think that first game, just realizing that. The Thunder still haven't lost in the playoffs, and basically all of their wins are by double digits. The Thunder money line is very popular because of its ability to be a surefire parlay winner. And while the Lakers are a public team, they're running out of steam, and this is the defending champions who look like they have all the gas left in the tank and all the bells and whistles that you need. So I think it's not going to be a lopsided series in terms of betting on the Thunder, but I don't think we'll see people really lean back into the Lakers unless they can snag a win or two. But even if they do win, like the first game at home, I don't see there being a shift back to the Lakers because this is who the Thunder are.
The only game that they did not cover was Game 4, the closeout game against Phoenix. They were laying 10.5, and they won by 9. So they're 6-0 in the playoffs and 5-1 against the spread. Speaking of, and we don't lean on you too much for this, but, the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers have the record for the most consecutive wins to start a postseason. That's 9. You got 1 at 7 now and 1 at 6. Carolina and Avalanche, is it 6 or 7? I think that's what it is. That's got to be – people just have to be just following that trend. Just riding those streaks, huh?
Yeah, they're definitely the strongest plays we're seeing. The problem is that I think there are enough people, whether it's casuals like myself or in the weeds bettors, who know that in a game with such low scoring variance that and playoff hockey is its own beast. That there's always a great chance that puck bounces the wrong way, and if you're getting an underdog at plus 225, or 275 on the road in an NHL game, that's really good value in the playoff setting. You don't see these dominant, in the case of like the Avalanche. But so I think because of the anything can happen kind of mentality of NHL playoffs, we're not seeing crazy, 90% money line percentages for those heavy favorites.
All right, so we've switched now to the lower seeds hosting games 3, 2 tonight and 2 tomorrow night in the NBA. I'm always curious about the action here Where's the public support for it? Knicks, Sixers, Spurs, T-Wolves tonight, and Thunder, Lakers, and Pistons, Cavs tomorrow.
Right now, Sixers. It's not super strong, but 50% of the money line money and 51% of the money line tickets on the Sixers, and then 63% of the spreads on the Sixers, 51% of the tickets. So a little bit more money than tickets, at least early on. And then the overs at 61% of the money and 87% of the tickets. So Philadelphia, if there's a spot they got to win, it's this one, because if they lose this game, I think New York, goes in and sweeps them. I really do. They're playing very excellent. And then the other matchup, it's Spurs, even on the road. The home Timberwolves are only catching 31% of the money line money, only about 41% of the spread money. Tickets similarly in the 30s and 40s, and the overs around 80s. So I think, even with the return of Anthony Edwards, the Spurs getting back to their groove in Game 2, I think reminded people that the Spurs are for real. Maybe not the Thunder, but the second best team, and certainly capable of dispatching the Timberwolves, even on the road. That's where the people are betting on NBA Friday night.
We're about out of time, Troy, but one winner out of these four. What's your favorite pick?
I'm still riding with the Knicks. I got some picks for the UFC card, but if I had to go on NBA, I would go with the Knicks. I just think.
All right, who's your pick real quick in the UFC?
Yeah, so main event: Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev for the middleweight championship. Can't take Chimaev on the money line. He's way too short. He's a steamroller. I like the under on his significant strikes and the over on his takedowns, both around -118. And basically, if he wins early, the significant strikes will hit. And if he wins late, because he just grapples and has takedowns. He had 15 takedowns in his last fight. Strickland's not great at defending the takedown. So I want to bet on this fight. Can't do the money line, so I'm going Chimaev not to throw a lot of punches and to hit a lot of takedowns.
Troy Macker, Machir. Great follow on Twitter. Enjoy the weekend. Take care of those girls, Troy. We'll talk to you Monday.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Burbank and Bluebonnet. We've been serving the people of southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Our great team of bankers: Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. United Community Bank, come on by and see how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at Rufino's live at lunch, Jimmy. We're judging again.
Yes, indeed.
Crawfish
the
cook-off.
Fifth annual crawfish cook-off over at St. John Vianney. It was the third year that we're judging, and rain, sleet, or snow. We are operating. We're going to do it. So, crawfish competition, pasta jambalaya, live music, daiquiris, beer, snowballs, dunk tank, face paint. Obviously, very family friendly. You're looking for something to do tomorrow, and price. You buy the tickets too. Adults $35, so you get you all the crawfish you can eat. So kids 7 and under free, 8 to 14 $20. So really good, well-run event. We're looking forward to it tomorrow, 2:30 to 6:30 over at St. John Vianney.
Ticket events.ticketleap.com. Scroll for the SJV Men's Club. That's tomorrow, the May 9th, starting at 2:30 until 6:30 p.m. That's tomorrow afternoon. Live here at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
He's out there somewhere in the world. Maybe even your local sports book.
Can anybody help us?
Let's bring in Bruce Marshall.
Brucey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing there, Jimmy?
Doing pretty good. What's your thoughts about the the Kentucky Derby. We're traditionalists and we things like that, and it's supposed to be hard. To race 2 weeks later. Now all the 2 years, we act like a Derby horse hasn't entered the Preakness in 20 years, but Mr. Dan did 2 years ago. But we also want to see. Well, I mean, who doesn't want to see the Derby winner run in the Preakness? And what's your thoughts about maybe adjusting that schedule to try and accommodate, but make it easier, but make it more entertaining? But it's a borderline asterisk there. Just kind of your thoughts on where we are right there with that, because I know you remember when the tradition was in 1969 when there was a different format as well, a different calendar, I guess you could say, for the Kentucky, for the Triple Crown.
Well, yeah, up till then, I mean, they'd been running the Belmont only 2 weeks after the Preakness, too. And then when New Belmont opened, actually the year was 68, they were still in 2 weeks later. Then they went to 3 weeks between the Preakness and Belmont for Arts and Letters in 69. Complicated here, Jimmy. It's a bigger narrative about horse racing that it's turned me off completely here now. The fact, I don't think there's any Derby entrants, not to mention the winner, who are going to be in the Preakness. That's disturbing. And the Triple Crown it's supposed to be sort of a test, but because it's rather close together. But nowadays,
right.
it's like an analytics horse racing thing. Oh no, we can't do that with horses, and you only run them a few times, and they're so worried about keeping these horses around for their breeding rights, and that's the horse racing public, the customer base. The breeding thing makes no difference to them. I mean, they're not involved in that, so it's like a whole different entity here that has, I think, hurt the sport. And I know they're saying, "Oh, we got the greatest TV ratings ever for the Kentucky Derby." They've turned horse racing into a one day thing now. All this overhype for the Derby, I can't stand it. I know people who grew up in Louisville, and what the Derby, how overpriced it's become, and what they've done in Louisville for that, and priced locals out from going, not just Derby Day, but on Oaks Day and things like that. It's distasteful. Also, they are running the Preakness at Laurel this year while they redo Pimlico. While they are still running one more year, the Belmont at Saratoga, which they have altered to a mile and a quarter, so it's not the Belmont anymore. I know they'd have to start the race on the far turn to run the mile and a half at the Saratoga. That's what they did in 63 through 67 when they ran the Belmont at Aqueduct. Go back and look at the YouTubes. They started it right near the top of the far turn. It's not the Belmont anymore. It's not even the Triple Crown anymore. And oh, by the way, this whole thing, rebuilding Pimlico at this tremendous cost, this is a political boondoggle in Maryland. It's some payoff somewhere there. Pimlico's a dump. They're throwing all this money into it. It is not a good part of Baltimore. I'd rather if they're going to keep the Preakness, keep the Laurel. Just forget Pimlico. Nobody wants to go down there anymore. And spruce up Laurel some more if you want. The whole thing turns me off, and the fact, the Derby winner again skips the Preakness. The overall narrative just turns me off.
Bruce, let's change subjects. We count on you for historical perspective on a lot of things, but I think I got something in the modern day that is going to predate even you. The Cubs haven't won this many games at Wrigley Field since 1935 in a row. This is 15 straight. 9 straight games that they got going right now. They've won 15. They're 18-3 in their last 21 games. Jimmy's trying to contain himself, because as a lifelong Cubs fan. You buying in? I know it's early, but this is also kind of unprecedented in our lifetime, the Cubs to put together a streak like this.
Every win here, I'm thinking you're going to have to tie Jimmy down with a seatbelt watching these games. I am sort of buying in. I wasn't around in 1935, so this is something new. What makes me think this is something special is the way the Cubs have been winning some of these games. And fighting back like that is, in that 7-6 win the other night in the extra innings and the way they came back when it looked like they were going to lose. I mean, that's the sort of thing that really triggers a contender. And when you start winning games improbably like that, that suggests there's a little magic about this. And they've got several different guys who are coming up. I mean, Cole Armstrong had he started the season kind of slow. All of a sudden now, he's getting big hits, and it's all up and down the lineup, and, they're getting enough pitching here. But it's the way they're winning some of these games, which just suggests there's a little magic going on there. And, I mean, they might have just effectively wrecked the Reds season here. The Reds were sort of on the ropes anyway. Then all of a sudden now they are really into a tailspin there. So, yeah, it is something. The other one here, I'm telling you, I've been really surprised with St. Louis playing this well. They won again last night in San Diego. They've been the other surprise to me, but I think the Cubs, this 15-game home streak, it's something special, but it's the way they're doing it. That's got everybody excited in Chicago. And Jimmy in Baton Rouge.
There you go. What about, and there's no doubt St. Louis, they were supposed to, the fans were really upset about the prospects of their season, but they've, can they keep it up? We're more interested in the Pirates around here, Skeens we want to see, and, on paper, they're the wins above replacement in hitting and the wins above replacement in pitching, but top 10 in just about every hitting statistic. But they lost. They got swept by St. Louis at home, and now they sweep Cincinnati and win 2 out of 3 at Arizona. Bruce, can they hang in there and be competitive for a wild card spot this year?
I think they can, although, it's been a little bipolar here lately because I do like the way they bounced back from that 4-game St. Louis sweep, which kind of came out of nowhere, and to bounce back and then sweep the Reds, and then they won 2 or 3 in Arizona. What concerns a little bit is since they have those back-to-backs against the Reds, the 17 runs and the 9 runs, so they scored 26 runs back-to-back. They only scored 2 runs the next 3 games. Now, they won 2 of those by 1-0 scores, and then yesterday they won again 4-2, so they have sufficiently recovered from the St. Louis sweep, which is a very good sign for them. A little bit alarmed, though, that the offense is still prone to go in some of these funks. So I wonder if they're going to have to try to find a little bit more at the deadline, and they do seem a little bit more willing to be aggressive, and they were certainly so in the offseason. So I think they have a chance to hang in there. They seem to have the pitching. When you talk about Skeens, as long as Skeens doesn't face the Cardinals, which for some reason there is kryptonite, we know how good he is, but Mitch Keller has also put up some pretty good numbers. I am actually up in the Bay Area this weekend, and they are out here playing the Giants this weekend, so a chance to get better record-wise. So I do think they got a shot to hang in there, yeah.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. And, we all think eventually he's going to go to the Yankees or the Dodgers or somebody like that. But, it would be nice to make a run with his originally drafted team. And, listen, the guys that they picked up, kind of B-list type of acquisitions, but O'Hearn and Lau and Mangum, these guys are – he's got really the biggest name was the guy who's batted in the middle of the lineup for the Braves for all these years. Ozuna is the one that's kind of lacking a little bit, but they're just about top 10 run score, batting average, home run, you name it, man. They at that lineup that was so pitiful last year for them. Skeens had a DeGrom type of year last year where he had how many games where he got 1 or 0 runs of support during his starts. Nonetheless, poor LeBron James. Bruce, it just can't get a call. First star ever in the league that, doesn't get the benefit of the whistle. So, it's obviously made the difference in the outcome of the game last night, huh?
Yeah, well, Lakers, LeBron, Redick, complaining about that. That's falling on deaf ears, across the country here. I actually gave the Lakers a chance to stick within that big spread last night, and they didn't do it. So I think the handwriting is on the wall in the series. I'm not even sure how great, the Thunder played. The first game, it looked, a little. It didn't look like they were hitting on all cylinders, yet they still won by almost 20. It's just they can so quickly, hit the, an 8-10-0 run just in the snap of a finger, and SGA is so good. the Lakers look like they're going to get swept in this series, and then we will see what happens in the offseason. But you're right. I mean, it's there's not a lot of sympathy out there for LeBron and Redick crying about the referee calls. I think
all right,
we're also looking forward to the next round in San Antonio.
Game threes, two game threes tonight, 2 game threes tomorrow, and this is the interesting part because, the underdogs are now at home, and these are usually more competitive games. Which ones that stick out? Which ones do you like the most?
Yeah, San Antonio. I'm still mad at that. I had over in Philadelphia, New York in Game 2, and it looked like it was going over until the fourth quarter, and then that stopped. Yeah. No, San Antonio, because Minnesota's hurting here. I mean, Ant is playing. He's playing hard. DiVincenzo's out, and now DeSomdo, I'm not sure about his status. I mean, he hardly played Game 2, and he didn't do too much. Listen, once in a while in NBA history, you have seen some great teams lose first games of playoff series. The 66, 67, 76ers, who had the great year for Wilt, that was the NBA's best record ever at the time, lost in the first round, their first playoff game to the Royals. Came back and won. The 172 Lakers, that finally they got that title team. It was Wilt again on that team. They lost in the finals the first game to the Knicks, came back and won. They also lost the first game of the Western Finals versus the Bucks. Circling to the Spurs, they lost that first game to Minnesota. I think that was a total one-off in this series. I don't think they expected Ant to play. He didn't have a huge game, but it just looked like something was off for San Antonio. They got it back together and then some in Game 2, and that's the San Antonio I think we can expect to see. We saw them turn on the power against Portland in the first round. I just don't think Minnesota's got enough firepower if these guys are hurting to stay close. And we will eventually get San Antonio, Oklahoma City. That's the matchup we want to see, and I think Oklahoma City handles this price tonight. And I might go over again with Philadelphia, New York, just because I'm stubborn, and I think that should have been an over in game 2, so I might do that as well.
Does it matter on your total you pick whether or not Embiid plays?
No, actually, I almost like it more if he doesn't.
Because more up and down, huh?
More up and down, and that game was trending so far over, all the way, and then all of a sudden, the lid just went on the bucket. And I do hate some of these NBA fourth quarters when these teams, when it gets the shot clock, everybody's scared to shoot, and they end up shooting with 1 or 2 seconds left in the shot clock, and it's usually a bad shot, often from three-point land. If they just play the way they did the first 3 quarters, I mean, they might even have a shot tonight, but I do think the total, it doesn't really impact it much without Embiid. And they proved, I mean, they could, they could stick around. They could beat the Knicks without Embiid if they just do what they did the first 3 quarters on Game 2. We'll see what happens tonight.
What'd you think of the Pistons, Cleveland, those 2 games?
Yeah, it looks like in this series, and this has held for Cleveland all the way through. They're the home road, the most stark home road we've seen. I would not be surprised if Cleveland evens this thing up when they bring it back home. I know the Pistons look like they've straightened things out. I think they got helped enormously in the first round when Wagner went out for Orlando. I think they were headed to losing that series. And Orlando's on sort of a fine, a narrow edge there, but when they have all their pieces, they can be kind of tough. That helped. And, I wonder about Cleveland, and, sometimes Harden, I'm not sure he's the guy I always want, but the home court thing has held up so strong for Cleveland. I do think I'd look at Cleveland tomorrow and probably Game 4 right now, just projecting ahead. I think this is a 7-game series. Detroit's gotten there the first 2 games, but it wasn't easy. I expect home court to hold up in this series and Cleveland to even it up after Game 4.
Now, when the Cavaliers acquired James Harden, they won like 8 or 9 in a row, and they did get a little bit of boost, and then it calmed down. But the odds makers have really, the divisional odds were just tightened up. Their win total increased. I talked about it. I think all these games are going to be close. I say when they go to Cleveland, I think Cleveland will be favored by just as much. Well, they're favored by a point more. They favored by 4.5. When the first 2 games, it was 3.5. Detroit. They just love Cleveland, and the public bet them last night. And when Charlie Broad said, "Man, you have any interest in back in Cleveland here?" I was like, I'm not in that game because James Harden had more turnovers than points in a playoff game. Both of these playoff games. How many for his career, Charlie? How many playoff games has this guy who's going to the Hall of Fame, he's the 9th all-time leading scorer, how many times has he had more turnovers than points? I mean, sorry, field goals made. I'm sorry, not points. Field goals made.
I have
30.
29, I think.
Wow.
30.
I think they had it corrected.
What's that?
It was on Inside the NBA. It's either 29 or 30.
It's 30.
30 now. Wow.
That's a staggering number.
He's got over 5 turnovers this playoff. Our friend from Cleveland, Adam the Bull, absolutely crushed James Harden yesterday. They're done. With James
okay.
Harden right
The honeymoon is over.
Oh yes.
Okay.
If only they had known that before they acquired him.
Well, yes, we've seen this, and he's not in his prime. He did this in his prime. So why would we expect more out of him? Or maybe at their roster, they just thought they were stuck.
The assist total throws people at times, too, because the assist total is high, but it's still not winning. You use the term winning basketball.
Bruce, did you realize that stat?
I did not, but it doesn't surprise me because I've sort of thought that about Harden all the time. I mean, it's just the ball is in his hands too much. And, high ball usage, high usage, I mean, it's a little to the extreme with him. I do think, though, the overriding thing maybe is this home thing with Cleveland, and that's why I do not think they'll advance in this series. I could see this going 7 and Cleveland losing every game at the Little Caesars and Detroit advances. I do think Detroit will advance, but I think it'll take a while because that's just Cleveland. The home court seems to matter in the playoffs to the Cavs.
Cunningham, we're seeing a star too, man. The block shot at the critical stage was big. I mean, he does a lot of different things. I'd score the 3 straight assists to the dunks when they tied it up in Game 1. So I'd say I want to run by you also, Bruce. I know we're going a little over here, but the challenge of the automated ball strike, in Major League Baseball. You are seeing more walks. You are seeing more balls hit and play. And, man, haven't we been dying for that as far as because we can't see the tools at work. We can't see speed, arm, glove. We can't see that unless the ball is in play. It's strikeout or home run, so much of it. But, man, I tell you what, when it's all said and done, this commissioner who was getting beat up pretty good, I think is going to have a great historical impact on the game.
This is a move that really has worked, and I think that extra inning move worked too.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and I always do. Since I talked to you guys last, I've been to 3 games. I went to 2 Angel games and 1 Padre game, and even the games I watched on TV. The automated strike. The best thing about this video review is it's quick. I mean, It's done. 8-10 seconds. Look at the NBA. Look at the NFL, how long they take. Look at soccer overseas, this VAR. When you can get a review to change it that quick, it's not disrupting the game any. And that's my contention. My problem with all of these, the review process in so many sports disrupts the flow of the game. The ball strike does not in Major League Baseball. And they're actually better, in the close calls at first base and things like that. They're also better. But the ball strike it's so quickly done. It does not disrupt the flow of the game, and I love it.
The pitch clock, the reduction of throws to first, and now it's the pace of the game, and I'm just blown. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Captain Optimist, Charlie. So Captain Positive.
And what have you lost?
Nothing. I mean,
exactly. That's the point. At the expense of what?
Well, the pitchers complained a little bit about off their pace a little bit.
Over it.
But everybody's playing the same rule. Yeah. Everybody's playing the same course.
They got over it.
Yeah, Brucey, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate it. Good luck to you this weekend.
Have a good weekend, boys. Thank you.
All right, yes, indeed. Bruce, always some good stuff. Really, really good stuff. The Triple Crown perspective historically was interesting as well. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Great, long-standing staff, expanding staff. We're just building a little title fortress over at Legacy. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, the Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, Handycast on YouTube. Brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026 and supporting our Louisiana farmers. Saints headed into minicamp this weekend. They have signed Jordan Tyson now to his contract, $32 million in change guaranteed. That means they've signed all of their draft picks except one. Christian Miller, the defensive tackle from Georgia, is the only one that remains unsigned, but he will be there this weekend. The other thing that happened today, or is happening today, the Saints have restructured Pete Werner's contract. It opens up about $4 million in cap space for 2026. Who cares, right? Well, this may be just so that they can fit in all of these rookie contracts, sign the class, and get everything in line. Or are they making a move to add somebody in free agency? Well, is free agency basically over? Well, all the big names are. But the Colts made a move today that the Saints may take a long look at. They cut cornerback Kenny Moore. This was basically a cost-cutting move. Moore has been a starter. He has started 111 games for Indianapolis. He's got, for his career, 21 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 11.5 sacks. He's also a very good locker room guy. The Colts have nominated him for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award 3 different times for his community work in the Indianapolis area. So he's a good player, and he is a good locker room guy. And they cut him because, well, he was in line to earn $10 million this season. This saves the Colts $7 million in salary cap space. So are the Saints maybe freeing up some money to go and bolster their secondary right now? If they were playing a game today, you'd have Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley on the outside, and probably Jordan Howden playing the nickelback, although, you got Jonas Sanker back there as a safety. And you got Lorenzo Styles, who you drafted. But if you brought in another veteran, it would certainly bolster what they wanted to address corner at some point in the draft, and maybe they didn't do it as early as they wanted to. If they had done that, then they wouldn't have got to wide receiver as early as they wanted to. So you got to make your choices. But this is a veteran that is available that the Saints may actually have enough money to go out there and sign. It's not a done deal. They may just be doing this to bring in the draft picks.
We beat up Mickey Loomis a lot. Is him being in better cap category, standing status, because Peyton's not around anymore?
Could be.
They're just trying to be fair. It looks like they have clearly altered their approach as far as this is concerned. Now, how much was with Breeze, where we're just trying to go in all in because they had that window and they knew they only had so many seasons left?
I think that's more of it than Peyton. Okay. And he stretched it a little bit even the season after that. But, no, the last 2 seasons they have operated, the last 2 drafts, and in free agency periods, they have operated more in a conventional manner. They have not
had to jump up and give away picks.
They haven't given away picks. They haven't restructured contracts, to
much better cap status.
They've done all of that. So now when a veteran that you can go out there and sign to a 1-year deal, he's going to be 31 before the season starts. It's not going to be a long-term thing, but you actually have enough money to go out and make him an offer. I don't know if this happens, but you can make moves like this.
And that's why I think the Rams thing is just that much more puzzling. It's not like it's an original take here, but and still, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Did you think they were the best team last year?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too.
Yes.
And I don't know if they're any worse.
Well, the other teams got better. They used their first-round draft pick for their team to improve next year. If they go just to expectation and they bring in one of those receivers, they bring in, a Bain, okay?
Yeah.
That was going to help their team for next year, who is already the preseason favorite to win it all. How often does one thing about it is this has to be one of the longest shots for a favorite to win a Super Bowl in a while. It's like 9-1. That's high. That's a lot. It is a lot of competition at the top.
Is it part of that because the competition at the top, and also Seattle's got, as far as I can see, very little of what you would normally say is the support for the defending champion to repeat. There's not very many people.
Because their quarterback is very average.
The quarterback is very average. The MVP running back of the Super Bowl is gone. They drafted a guy in the first round that they think can take his place, but they don't know if he's going to be able to give that.
I don't think that's going to be as much of a drop-off. I mean, Seattle's got the better roster. The Rams have the better quarterback.
Yeah. Sam Darnold's going to do it like 10 years in a row before we believe in him.
Stafford plays. And how many years do we think? If you had to, would you just Stafford? One? I think he's going to play. I think this is it for him.
I thought last year was it, honestly.
I didn't think he was ever going to make it.
I'm a touch surprised he's coming back for this year. He's playing at a high level, but he's had so many injuries.
Max likes to pick. He's a look to the future guy.
They've got. When are they going to get a top 15 pick in the first round? The Rams. They're not going to get that opportunity. They got it because of the Falcons trade.
Give them 1 year without Stafford. Don't be a pick in the top 15.
Well, they're building right now, and they're going to do it the Jordan Love way, the Packers way of just.
But you're taking a guy that's not even prepared.
He's not ready. It's early, but I think Stafford's got 2 years left, and I think they're going to let him sit for 2 more years.
Would surprise me if he went 2 instead of 1.
And I think Simpson at that point they hope will be ready in a system that should suit Ty Simpson.
I understand the strategy more than the player. I'm not over the moon about Simpson either.
I like
Simpson,
and
I know he's a ways
away. I'm both. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And this is the last candidate to make a move like this 5 years ago, where they never had a first round pick. They were never looking for the future.
They went 7 years in a row, I think.
Ever looking for the future. When they got to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them on the way. So, I mean, you just don't have – there's 32 teams. How many times do you have a real window where you can win it all?
Now,
and they do. And I would have strengthened that.
They can make the argument that the other first-round pick went for the corner that they got from Kansas City, McDuffie. So they did improve their defense through the draft. But I understand the trepidation with Simpson for sure.
Thibodeau store, Pierre Part store. You know those guys?
Mother's Day on Sunday.
Mother's Day, that's right.
Cypress furniture. This is a unique gift. It's custom-made Cypress furniture. It's swings, it's gliders, it's chairs, it's rockers. So many different unique things that they have at the Thibodeau store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. Pick out that unique gift from a lot of plants. You don't know what to get, Mom. You get a plant. A lot of plants.
A lot of plants. A lot of gardening materials, gardening tools. If Mom likes to work in the yard, Mom likes to boil seafood. Got all kinds of rigs.
The outdoor cooking stuff. For Mom, pick it up. 4 locations: Lockport and LaRose now, Thibodeau and Pierre Part. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. If you're building this summer, lumber delivery available out of Lockport and out of Pierre Part. All of your building materials. And if you're doing some of this work yourself, ask them for advice. Expert opinions are available from all 4 locations. They'll tell you what you need and how to go about doing it. You won't be wasting time or money. You get in the pool, getting ready to go, getting ready to spend some time out by the pool. Lots of pool chairs and patio furniture that's available right now at all 4 locations. Again, online, thethibodeaustore.com. You can access all 4 sites from the one website at thethibodeaustore.com. Live at Rufino's. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Odd and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's go up to New York, talk to veteran handicapper Ace Simonero on a roll. Yes, indeed, sizzling in Major League Baseball in his free picks that he puts out on the show here, 9-2 on the season. Ace, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, Jimmy. Just looking forward to another big weekend. Great time of the year. We just love all the playoffs and baseball intertwining.
All right, let's start in Major League Baseball, if you will. And, man, the best team in Major League Baseball so far, the Atlanta Braves, against the defending national champions and a favorite to repeat as national champions, as World Series champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Chris Sale, 2 years ago, beat out Paul Skeens, 4 National League Cy Young Award winner. He is in the running again, although Skeens had a great game in Arizona earlier this week. But you look at the Dodgers, when you look at Ohtani, Yamamoto, Wroblewski, Glasnow, big drop off to their 5-starter in Sheehan tonight. So looking at Atlanta here on the road at L.A.
We are. Could be potentially an NLCS preview. As you mentioned, Atlanta right now 26-12, Dodgers 23-14, just sailing along. You don't even basically pay attention as they're just rolling along. But before we get into it, Jimmy, as you mentioned, 9-2 MLB on air on the free picks there. We also won our basketball play when I was on air Tuesday with you as well with Oak City. So yeah, free picks right now, free pick service to any of your listeners that want help. 631-805-6165. Punch the phone in. You're probably driving right now. Can't write it in. Punch it into your phone. 631-805-6165. You text the word free picks. You'll get my top-rated free pick. We're going to give out 7 days. 7 days of free pick service. My top-rated free pick texted to you every morning. 631-805-6165. Just text the word free picks. You're on board. So, yeah, let's get into this big matchup that very well could be the NLCS matchup come October. Atlanta Braves just sailing along right now. I love the way they're playing. Chris Sale, no pun intended, right? Braves sailing along 6-1 right now. Just 2.14 ERA, 0.9 whip, 49 Ks through 42 innings pitched. They're almost like, video game numbers. He's absolutely lights out, certainly staking his early season claim to the Cy Young. And Sheen, as you mentioned, their phenom right now, breaking his way into the league. 2-1, 5.23 ERA, solid 1.23 whip, but going up against the lineup right now, Atlanta here, that is just bashing the ball. Albie's having just an otherworldly, all-around fantastic season. Olsen bashing the ball. You can go up and down the lineup. Now, I like the Braves right now with Sale. You can get him on the road, which is at home. What are you going to get him at? He's going to be laying 2-1 in a lot of instances, unless they're playing a top-notch team. So to get him on the road at even, if the Dodgers aren't favored at home, I think the odds makers are telling you why. And it's because you got the much better pitcher on the road right now with the Braves. Give me Sale at even money. You're not going to get that opportunity too many times the rest of the year. Give me Chris Sale to light them up tonight.
All right, let's move on to one of the props. And you hit one of these K props the other night with Ohtani, 8 or more. Looking at another hard-throwing right-hander from the National League, Jacob Misiorowski, looking at the same prop, 8 or more strikeouts.
Let's keep it going with the hard-throwing pitchers. Jacob Misiorowski, 43 pitches in his last outing, which, by the way, was 5 1/3 innings of hitless ball, came out because of cramps. He struck out 8, walked 2. He had 43 pitches, Jimmy, that registered 100 miles an hour or more. The third highest pitch tracking record since they've been tracking pitches. This guy is just an absolute horse out there. Now, he hasn't faced the Yankees, but that also means that the Yankees haven't faced him. All right, Yankees lost the use of their Martian, Jason Dominguez, nicknamed for him, made that tremendous catch out in left field yesterday, first inning, bashes into the wall, hurts his elbow. They got another phenom coming up, Jones, 6'7" guy, almost like Judge. A lot of strikeouts in that lineup. They hit home runs, but they strike out a lot. Okay, and Misiorowski, 8+ Ks minus 128. Yeah, give me the 8+ Ks. Right now, it's 59 strikeouts for Misiorowski in 38 innings. Opponents are batting 172 against him. We want to make sure he strikes out a lot of guys. Well, he's averaging 13.97 strikeouts per 9 innings, the number 1 strikeout man in the entire league of baseball. So give them to me. Misiorowski, 8+ Ks minus 128. You want to put a slight extra money on it at 9+ Ks? Now all of a sudden you're getting plus 146 for that extra strikeout. Why not put a little bit extra on that one as well? I think you got solid investments there tonight with Atlanta with Chris Sale, Misiorowski 8+ strikeouts, and a little extra on the 9+ strikeouts, especially being that you get 146 before we even get into the NBA.
So far this season, Misiorowski, last 3, he has 8 or more strikeouts. The last 3 and 5 of his 7 starts. He's had 9 strikeouts, 2 of the last 3, and 4 of his 7 starts. He has had 9 or more Ks. All right, let's get to the NBA in Game 3. Sixers much more competitive without Embiid in Game 2, but just hit a wall, especially in the offensive end in the fourth quarter at Madison Square Garden. Now they're back home in Philadelphia. Oh, the bandwagon Knicks fans, there'll be a sprinkling of those in the arena tonight as well. Sixers 1.5. Well, the money line's minus 115 to minus 125, Ace.
Yeah, again, situational handicapping in NBA playoffs. Certainly the Knicks, Game 1, who expected Philadelphia to win that game? They just went through 7 tough games, an amazing comeback, quick one-day turnaround. The Knicks blew them out. Game 2, a little more, some adjustments made there. Coach Nurse out-coaching Coach Brown. Again, let's not forget, Coach Nurse won a championship with the Toronto Raptors. Say that to yourself. Toronto Raptors won an NBA championship. Yeah, they really did, and it was Coach Nurse that led them there. So are they completely out of this series? They always say a series doesn't start until you lose a home game. In my mind, it's not going to start then tonight, because I believe Philadelphia at home, and what people are calling Madison Square Garden West, not so much though tonight. They've done a good job of trying to keep away all the home fans there from stopping them with VPNs and all different things to stop all the New York fans from buying those tickets. So you're going to have more of a home crowd for Philadelphia. But even that, let's see Embiid again. Game 1, tired as heck. You could see he just played terrible, 3 for 14. Game 2, they set him out purposely. He's got a bunch of nagging injuries. He's going to come out completely revved up. OG Anunoby, in my mind, he's been the best player for the Knicks the entire playoffs. Missing him is huge. With a hamstring injury, they can talk probable all they want. That's nonsense. You're not going to play a guy with a hamstring injury one day after playing. I doubt he's seriously going to play in Game 4 as well. If they're up 3-1 by Game 5, I don't even think you'll see him in Game 5. So this is the do-or-die game for Philadelphia right now. I would expect them to get right back in this game. As you mentioned, they were playing that fast-type game, and they were right there until Game 2 the other night. 6:30 left in the game. They finished 1 for 9 and 0 for 7 from three-point range. So they got to get back to stopping the turnovers. In the first 2 games, 37 turnovers have led to 48 points for the Knicks. Certainly not a good recipe for them. They're getting to the free throw line more than the Knicks are, which is definitely good. And I think that's exactly what Embiid has to do early in the game. Try to get Towns in some foul trouble. Be as aggressive as he possibly can, and then let Tyrese Maxey edgecomb Paul George, who's hitting 3.2 threes per game in his last 10 games. Let those guys take over. I really expect the 76ers to put up an all-out effort tonight at home and get themselves back in the series. And as you mentioned, why bother messing with the 1.5 point? The money line's 115. Let's remove that. So if they get a 1-point win, you're doing a cartwheel just as if they won by 30. Sixers tonight to get back in the series, Jimmy.
All right. Again, picks in reverse order. 76ers money line minus a little money. Atlanta even money with Chris Sale against Sheehan there. I love that pick as well. Jacob Mizorowski, 8 or more strikeouts minus some money. 9 or more strikeouts plus a little money. If you want to get with Ace on a regular basis, 631-805-6165. Just text free picks to him at 631-805-6165. Ace, good stuff as always. Good luck to you this weekend. We'll talk to you Tuesday.
Have a great weekend, Jimmy. Speak to you Tuesday.
All right. Yes, indeed. You too.
I can't. Every time I hear Jacob Mizorowski, I just can't help but think if he'd ended up at LSU, he was committed here to come for 23. Oh, they won the national championship anyway. But could you imagine him in the same rotation with Skeens? In a college rotation?
Yeah, that'd be pretty tough.
He ended up signing for a little over $2 million with the Brewers. He was a second-round pick, but oh my!
And I'm sure a lot of other programs had those guys as well. That were committed.
Sure,
yeah.
And the Brewers played a bunch over slot. And
was he a serious? Was he ever a threat to?
You get different opinions about that. He was out of a junior college.
Really?
Yeah, he pitched a year at a junior college, and it was a redshirt year. So
okay, I
mean, I don't think it was when he went to. I think it was Crowder Junior College. It was definitely not a done deal that he was gonna go pro. Right? Brewers took him in the second round. Second round picks almost always signed, but they put him way over slot. He was like a little over $2 million is what they signed him for.
Sanjay Yim and Matt McCarty atop the leaderboard, the truest at 7 under right now in Charlotte, North Carolina. A little rainy outside, Charlie.
Just a touch, man. It is coming down here, so be careful as you make your way around Baton Rouge. And if you're coming over here to see us for lunch, live at Rufino's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Rufino's on Highland Road on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Coming down the stretch here at Rufino's on Highland Road. Trying to duck around some of the weather. Going to be an interesting weekend. LSU baseball, though, is on the road against Georgia. 5 o'clock first pitch this afternoon. William Schmidt and Joey Volchko, the big fireballing right-hander from Georgia. Stanford transfer, about 97 or so, 7-2, 3.63 ERA. Georgia also with Aoki, Caden Aoki, one of the best closers in the league and the number one offense. So LSU's got their work cut out for them as they head to Athens. That's coming up at 5 o'clock this afternoon. But we got NBA playoff action. We got Major League Baseball. We got NHL playoff action. Is a big MMA card. Max, you got any thoughts about the fights this weekend?
Yeah, it's a better card than you would think, considering they've kind of ramped up everything for next month. They're having the White House card on Flag Day. That's next month. So I felt like they were going to just maximize everything and kind of leave this one barren. But we got 2 title fights. I think Strickland's kind of in for a tough one. So probably Khamzat Chimaev under 3.5 rounds. I think that would be interesting to me. But yeah, it's a decent card considering the circumstances. I'd say that and Sean Brady on the main card. He's about minus 150 or so. So those are the 2 that I was looking at just on a very, very quick glance at the card.
Jimmy, your final thoughts on any of the NBA games that go tonight or tomorrow?
I got to think the Lakers are going to finish one off.
Call this a gentleman's sweep.
Well, maybe even Game 3. They've been way more competitive than I thought, and so maybe at home they might steal one. They're not winning 2, but I mean for 90% of the game, you thinking the Lakers are covering, huh? I mean, they were competitive to win. They were a threat to win the game outright, catching 15.5.
SGA goes out a minute into the third quarter with his 4th foul. He sits the entire third quarter, and they were down 5 when he went out. They went on a 22-4 run with him on the bench.
Well, Redick realized that at halftime, but he was on the court with 3 in the second quarter, and they did not attack him.
Yeah,
and that was a miss on the bench. So. He's done some nice things that are being applauded, in this postseason, especially against the Rockets. But that was a miss there that they didn't challenge him because, you were risking way too much having him on the court. I guess he only got 1 minute before they got it. They took care of it in the third quarter, but still. I like San Antonio.
Okay.
I like San Antonio.
I like the Philly angle.
I like San Antonio as my best bet of the next 2 nights, to go in there. And I think they grew up and they realized, Wemby, man, if you don't take –
Flash flood warning.
Flash flood warning.
That's
okay. Everybody's phone goes off at the same time. Wow, okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, got it.
They're being rude in a restaurant. I mean, the phones are all,
It's raining, y'all. It's pretty serious.
Yeah, let's give our yes. Be careful. There's a lot of rain, there's weather, and there's possible flash flooding. Yes,
as you can hear the sirens in the background.
All Max, the weather, man.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Be careful out there, and stay tuned for Hunt on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.